Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful, thanks.
It looks like you're off on a road trip or something.
Like, it's so crazy because it's release week and we have two kids. So we have to rehearse at noon. So I was like, I'm outside our rehearsal space.
Crazy times.
Crazy times, but that's good. I mean, it's,
But-
after 2 years of a pandemic, it's kind of nice to be busy again.
That's it. Even when it gets busy, it's like we have to remind ourselves we can't complain about this stuff right now anymore, right?
Exactly.
Appreciate the good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk to you. I have to tell you a little bit of a backstory first, though. So back in 2005, I met a Canadian girl while I was traveling in France because I'm from the UK. And we kind of started to have like a transatlantic relationship. And the soundtrack to that year for us was Set Yourself on Fire, for sure.
Nice.
So that was kind of like the album that really reminds me of the beginning of my relationship with that girl back in 2005. So here I am now in Montreal. I ended up marrying that girl.
Aww.
We have 3 kids. And
they're called Torquil, Amy, and Evan.
no, not quite. But on our wedding anniversary last year, it just happened to coincide with the fact that you guys were playing at Oshaga.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember doing the dedication?
Oh, yeah. That's right.
That's awesome.
Oh, my God. So cute. Look,
There you go. So I have a bit of a history with you.
there we go.
That's wonderful.
So apart from all the hectic, like running around and rehearsing and looking after kids, how is life in Stars at the moment?
It's ridiculous, to be honest. I actually went into kind of a hysterical laughter crying thing yesterday when Torque started to play an egg, those little eggs that you can play that have for percussion.
Right. Yeah.
He'd never played the egg before, and I just couldn't believe that I'm still around these jokers for 22 years making music. It's a little bit bonkers, and getting into the same fights and having it's just bonkers. It's ridiculous, but fine. What about you?
I can't believe we're still doing this together. It's really outstanding.
Yeah. And in those 22 years that you mentioned, am I right in saying that nobody ever left Stars?
No,
We're the same jokers, which is amazing. The same original people are still together.
we did gain a member 11
Yeah.
years ago, Chris McCarran. So we did gain him, but he is also still with us. We did a video for the Instagram thing, and we were revealing the record, and I introduced him, and it's now a running joke where he's like the new member, quote unquote, even though it's been 11 years since he's been in the band. But I'm always like, this is Chris McCarran, just in case you don't know. But he's always prompted by it.
So the new album that we're talking about, From Capelton Hill, what is Capelton Hill to you? I know it's a real place, but it feels like it's there's more meaning to it than that.
For me, it's about a place from your youth you want to hold on to forever, but know that you can't. It's a place that, for me, it is a place that you live in nostalgia. You live in your childhood memories, and it's a place that you can't live in forever. That eventually you might have to let go of it, just like it is accepting middle age and the next life that's in front of you, and looking back at the past and all those things.
Yeah, it's similar for me, but it's not about a place. It's about really the band. We wrote Set Yourself on Fire in North Hadley, not at the house that's in the thing, but we wrote it in another house in the middle of winter. And it was really, I guess Heart was obviously our first album, but Set Yourself was it was evident that we weren't really going to go anywhere, which is, true, because that's what happened. And to me, it's finding that this family of lunatics and having a life together. It's a love song about a group of people and not just one person.
So, and the title track even references Set Yourself on Fire.
That song was written in a really interesting way. So all the songs begin with Chris Seligman and Evan Cranley. They all start like, I don't even like, the pandemic was so like, I was so filled with dread. Like, I can't believe I got any work done, but because they went to work. And so I had no choice. They were like throwing me songs to sing on. And so that song originally was sent to Torquil out in Vancouver. And he'd had the verses done, but he didn't have a chorus. And then he was able to come to Montreal, and we were able to gather and bubble together for a little bit to do some writing. And I could tell he was talking about North Hatley and the house and us and our time. And because of the pandemic, it really did feel like maybe we would never be able to do it again. So it was sort of this like these sad songs about what we had done, but in the face of a pandemic also, you know? And anyway, so I looked at when we first found the house that we made Set Yourself on Fire, and we met this guy, Alan. He's a lovely guy, at a bar. And he's like, well, you could have my house. I actually have a studio in the basement. He's like, why don't you come on up? And we went up the hill and we fell in a ditch in the car. And so I tried to, when I was listening to him sing the song, I tried to find the road that it was that we went up and fell into the ditch. And so I found Capelton Hill, which is a street in this thing. And then I sort of joined him. It's sort of the first time that him and I have really come together on a, like, hold on, when you get love, I wrote the chorus and he wrote the verses, but really like as a storytelling coming together, it was really one of the first times we've done that.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about, it's definitely got that feeling of nostalgia and loss and a little bit of hope, I guess. And loss is a subject that you guys come back to quite often. How do you feel this album kind of fits in with all the rest of your catalog now?
Oh, I kind of think that our lives have finally led up to this moment. You know, there are people that didn't make it along with us to this moment. Either they're dead or they've left us to pursue other things. And I just think that this is where we are is a complete arc and natural journey to this band's career. So I think that mixed with that, there's a lot of thankfulness that we're still doing this together. You know, it's interesting energy being between having moved on so far in a career, like 23, 24 years in the music business is really like 50 years in any other job. It's just, to me. And I just think there's also a lot of gratitude mixed in with that, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. And I think it's our most, like, we took away a lot of tricks. You know, one of the things we wanted to do was we wanted to write this whole record together live in a room. Like that was when we first started to, at like January 2020, we were like, this is how we're going to do the next record. We're going to be together all the time in one room and do it. And then boom, the world shut down. So, but we tried to aesthetically be as true to that as possible. You know, we've done dance stuff and we've done, you know, more rock stuff. And I feel like this is the closest to us just being in a room together and picking up some instruments and playing them.
Yeah, I agree. When I listen to it, I can kind of hear that. You feel almost content in yourselves on this album, I think.
Yeah, I think that a lot of it was making the song first and not trying to rely on production or rely on instrumentation so much. It was really just the six of us thinking what's the best song, and really trying to get Amy and Torque together, singing a lot of the songs together. I really wanted an inclusion and make it feel like the singers were kind of at any moment could just start singing a verse or a chorus. So there was this seamless thing between Torque and Amy. And with this record, I think from previous records, we really achieved this symbiotic thing between the singers as well.
And also, like a pandemic, a 20-year career, we started a Patreon page back in December, right before the pandemic, which was really great. And it was a lifesaver for us. I don't know if you're a patron or not, because I know you're a big fan, but it is a really wonderful place. And it's where we have these incredible fans, and it's $5 a month. And we basically played them the making of the record. Like they heard the beginnings of all the songs, like before I was ever on them. And it was just Torque or just the music. They heard the making of the album. And I don't know, when you first start making records, you're trying to prove something, you know, you're trying to make your way through the industry. And like the industry doesn't give a shit about us. Like we're the past, you know, but to the people who love us, like you and the people on the Patreon page and our true fans who stuck with us, they're so excited and so, oh, it's my 17th star show. You know what I mean? Like that's who the record's for. So we're not like making a record like, oh, we're going to be huge when this record comes out. You know, it's going to make a massive difference. I mean, Spotify's destroyed the industry anyway. So it was kind of like, well, we're just going to do this because it's art. And there's nothing like you can be more true to yourself than like, there's just nothing to prove. Like the only reason to do this is to connect with the people that we love and who love us and tell the truth.
Okay. So do you not feel that when bands start to do that, when they start caring less about the industry and caring more about the art and what their fans would want, that's when success sometimes comes?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we are a successful band. You know what I mean? We have made, I think that like, but there was always like this kind of, you know, it's a bit of a Sally Field, like, are they going to like us? You know, but we've been a punk band for 23 years, like, and we have a punk following. We've never played the industry game. Like we're really bad at it. we're just not corporate enough to be able to walk into a room and not sabotage it, you know?
I think also one of our strengths, finally, it's our 9th record, is that we've made something that I think only we can make. And you're invited inside this thing, this world. And if you don't you can find it somewhere else. So I just think we're really comfortable in who we are and what we make. And that's a big thing too.
That's another reason why none of us have left. I mean, you know, we've tried. Torque will put out another, you know, he's in Memphis and he's, you know, done a play, and I put out a couple of solo records, but nothing is Stars. Like nothing connects like Stars does. And we kind of have to do it together because separately there's some alchemy about the 6 of us that is only Stars, you know, and that's what people have connected to.
Absolutely. And for such a quintessential kind of Canadian indie band with a really solid following, I know that you've been nominated for Junos and you've been nominated for Polaris. Does that stuff matter anymore? Because it feels like you should have a line of those on your shelf, but
that's nice.
Well, that's the thing about, I mean, first of all, we live in Montreal. So, you know, there's one band from Montreal that's really, well, I guess that's totally not true. I don't know how to do the game. I don't know.
The band started in Brooklyn, and then we moved to Toronto, and then we moved to Montreal. So with every move, we've gotten further away from the industry of what music is because we didn't want to be surrounded with the business so much. And those two places, there's a lot of business of music happening. And we wanted to completely isolate ourselves from that. And Montreal's a perfect place to get away from the music business back then. So I just think we don't really play the game to be noticed by the Academy.
But you know, it would be great.
It would be like nice.
We have a game actually with Stars where like we'll bring up somebody from somewhere, like we're playing a festival, we're like, oh, Serena Wright is playing. They're like, Patty goes, Juno. And like, oh, I think the Arkells are gonna be on this bill. He goes, Juno. Everybody that has a Juno except us. We don't have a Juno, you know, and I don't know. It would be so nice. Like, I'm not gonna be like, I don't care about the Junos. But the Junos were great this year. Mustafa made us cry. Yeah, I mean, you know, sure.
It would be nice to be recognized just because I think then other people would discover our music, which would be great. Yeah. But if that doesn't happen this time, that's fine too. We have a 9-album career, and that's you know,
we get 1 million streams a month. You know, we're doing okay.
Yeah.
I'd love a Juno. I'd love it, Alan. I'd love a Juno. Please.
So I want to talk to you very quickly before we leave you about 2 events that you've got happening this week. One is the event on Friday, which is going to be from North Hatley. And also I want to talk to you about Tim Burgess and his listening party that you're doing next week, which I think is a fantastic thing that he's been doing. I've been following him for quite a while. But tell me about Friday.
fingers are crossed. We've never done anything like this. Like we actually didn't do a single stream during the entire pandemic. So we don't really have any crew. We don't really have any gear except for the gear we're coming with. So we don't really know how it's going to sound, but we hope it just sounds like us and that there's some nice songs. It's like it's in a restaurant that's never had a band before. But
hopefully if the weather plays out, it's going to be on the lawn in front of this cafe, and word is spread around the village, and people are going to come and watch it.
The mayor's coming.
The mayor's coming. It's going to be, 45 minutes, and we'll see what happens.
And we've had so many wonderful times in this town and at Torque's house, and it's just going to be another hilarious moment. It's going to be the most stars show maybe ever. The most starsy place and show.
And
ever.
We're playing a lot of the new record there, which is
pretty much the whole thing is the new record.
Pretty cool.
And if you're a patron, you get to watch an encore.
Oh, and for non-patrons, where can they watch it?
Oh, it's you can buy a ticket on Bandcamp. It's $5, but it's also $5 to join Patreon, and you can quit at any point. So you could just go to Patreon and see hundreds of things on there. And either way, Bandcamp, and then you're sent a link, and then off we go.
Okay, easy. That'll be good. That's going to be a nice way to spend your release day.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be so fun because this band is hilarious, and we are in the business of fun.
And then next week you've got Tim's Twitter listening party, which for anybody who doesn't know is where people tune in from around the world, literally, and they all listen to the album at the same time. I've listened to quite a few of these, and even if I'm not that into the album, it's really interesting because the band tweet along as you're listening, tell you about the songs, right? Have you listened to any of his things before?
I know that Young Galaxy did it, and he did Set Yourself on Fire also during the pandemic. So we were a part of that. And then Broken Social Scene did it. And so that was really fun because they were talking a lot about this guy's trombone playing because he plays a lot. We're both in Broken, but he plays since the beginning. He's been the trombone player in Broken Social Scene. So yeah, no, I love them. I think they're so fun. And it's like the internet is such a place of garbage that it's like a really like Twitter comes alive with like joy and music and laughter and stories, which is really what it should be instead of just like virtuosic finger pointing.
And that's going to be on the 31st, Tuesday.
Yes. Yeah.
And people have to go on Twitter. And I think the hashtag is Tim's Twitter listening party, something like that. And
I'm sure From Capelton Hill or Capelton Hill will be a hashtag too.
Yeah. And who will be tweeting along from you guys?
Well, only Torquil and I have Twitter accounts. But we'll probably all be together at our rehearsal space. So there'll be chimes from all.
Yeah, we'll yell out different anecdotal things about the making of the record, and it'll be cool.
And I know that even if you don't catch it live, you can go onto their website and replay it as well. So that's
cool.
All. Yeah.
Oh,
cool.
That's great.
Yeah, well, congratulations on the album. I genuinely love it. Obviously, I'm a fan already.
Thank you. And thank you so much for your patience and talking to us. We really appreciate it. Montreal truly does rock.
There you go. That's
a
great. All right, then. We'll have a great week. Enjoy the chaos.
Thanks you so much.
All right.
Bye.
We'll see you soon.